Hi guys, today I will be teaching you how to play chess. So, chess is a very popular game, and I've actually played it since kindergarten. That's been a couple of years, so let me just show you how to play. So, let's just first start with the pieces, like how they move and stuff. So, this is the pawn. What you can remember is pawns have no power. They're very weak, and I can show you how they move. So on the first move of every pawn, you can move them 2 spaces or 1 spaces. So you can do this with the first move of every pawn, like that. But you have to take turns. I'm just showing you how every pawn can move on their first move. So when you can move a pawn like this on the first move or like this on the first move. So yeah. And pawns are actually the weakest. So the way they move is like this, like this, like this, like this. And when you get to here, like a place like this, the way you kill another pawn or eat another pawn, you do this. And you take their position. You can only eat diagonally. My grandma thought that you do this, but that's not how it goes. You eat like this. So I'll put this back. So the pawns are useful for like protecting other pieces, but when it comes down to attacking, they aren't that good. And you can't get a check with pawns, that's really hard. But yeah, they're weak. Next, I'm gonna tell you the name of this. This is the rook. The rook can move like this and take out that. But you have to remember there's always a pawn in front. So if you wanted to get the rook out from here, you can move a piece here, move the rook here, move a piece here, move the rook here. And then you would move the rook here. Now, another thing you can do is play like this with the rook. You can move this way. But you can't go diagonally. That's only with the bishop or when eating with a pawn. And you can only do that with the queen too. Also, after this, you have the knight. But it's a horse, but it's called a knight. And this is the only piece that can jump other pieces. And so you can jump other pieces like this. So the thing is, with this, you can only move in an L. So like this. So you move like this to an L. See, it goes 1, 2, and then you switch that way. So then you can do it like this too. Like 1, 2, 1. Or like this. 1, 2, 1. Or 1, 2, 1. So you can do it backwards with that piece. Now I forgot to tell you, with the pawn you can't move backwards. So yeah. Now the next piece I'm going to show you is the bishop. There's 2 of these on each side of your queen and your king. So the way these are is they move diagonally, making them a good way to kill a rook. So the best way to attack a rook is with a bishop because they can attack the rook diagonally. So if you want to attack a rook diagonally, the bishop's the best way to go, or the horse, the knight. So these go right beside your queen and your king. Then beside those are the knights, then the rooks. So next there's the queen. So if I move everything off the board, I move all my pieces off the board to show you this, and put the queen right here. So the queen can move like this. Like that. It can move diagonally, and then it can move like this. Like up and down. It can also move left and right. And then it can move diagonally anyway. It can move diagonally any space you want it to move. But let's say there's this pawn here, and you want to move this guy over here. First, you have to get to the pawn and wait for your turn to come again, because you can't go through two people like this. You can't do that and take both. You can only hit one man at a time. So yeah. So the queen, I say, is the best piece to try and get a checkmate with. So I'm going to show you the way I like to get a checkmate. So probably the best way to do this is like this. Line up all three here and have so if the king's here and you have all three of these guys here, you want to move this one here so the king cannot escape. And then you move the queen here. Next, you would want to move the queen here. And then you would want to move him here. That would mean the king could move nowhere without getting a check, because these guys move this way. A checkmate. So this is called a checkmate when the king can't move anywhere. A checkmate can be prevented. Well, it was only a check if there's a way to prevent it, but it can be like this if you had a piece there, and you could do that, preventing the checkmate. So that would prevent the checkmate. Also, next, the king is the piece you need to protect, making him the perfect piece to keep in the back of the board. So if you keep the king in the back of the board, it's not that safe because you could do that move I just showed you, but still, it's a safer place for the king. Really, the only time to move the king is when you're being chased by a piece. So the king can move like this. It can move one space diagonally, one space up, or one space down, one space left, or one space right. Now, that's how that moves. So, a next rule of chess is white always gets to start first. So, if white starts first, then basically black would have a little bit of an advantage because they could see like what move would be good to make next, so they could know where to attack. So yeah, I like to use black because of that advantage. I think it's an advantage, but let's show you this. Let me show you this. That's our king, right? That's the king. So let's say you're right here, and you're right, let's see, there. The king cannot move anywhere without a check. Well, he could move there with a check, so let me show this a different way. So let me think. So the king cannot move here, could not move here, and could not move here. But he's not in a check. So let me put this here. So if your king isn't in a check and their king isn't in a check and it's trapped and can't move anywhere, and that's the last piece they can play, then really you won if you're black team, if you're the black pieces. So you would win. But, I mean, it's not really a win. I guess it's kind of a win, but I don't really think it's like a win. I have to look into that. I need to look that up. Maybe I'll look that up. So, really, this would be a black team win, but it's not like a normal win. So, what's next? Okay, so the king, if this happens and there were other pieces around him, then he could move these pieces to try and get rid of this check. But likely he won't do that because that would be hard, because usually when you do this, you have more pieces around. So, next, what was I going to show you? So, this is chess, but what was it I was going to show you? Remember. white starts first. Oh yes, how to set up the board. So the way you set up the board is like this. So flip it around. D, E. So your queen always needs to be on your color. Remember that. And the king always needs to be on D. So that's how you know which side to put your pieces on. Next, you want to put a bishop there and a bishop here. Like that. So once you do this, it's cool. So you want it like that. So next, it's easy because all you really have to do now is remember, beside the bishop is the horse, then the rook. Bishop. Oh, why am I calling these bishops? Oh, right, yeah. Besides the bishop is the horse, beside the horse is the rooks. Next, you just have your row of pawns. Make sure you don't confuse the bishops for the pawns. One time I did that, and I was like, why is my pawn back in that back row? That can't happen. So, yeah. That's what it would look like. Now, that's how it would look like if you set up the board. Like that. Now, the ABCs always have to be down here, because that's how you know where to put these. So, now, after this, you see the numbers. Just remember, you can move the queen all the way. If there's not a pawn here, you can move it from 1 to 8. Just remember that. So, yeah. They actually sell 3-player chess, which are really cool. But they're kind of weird because they don't have all the pieces you have on a 2-player chess, which I don't really understand. So, yeah. Please like and subscribe, and maybe I'll have more videos on how to play these games like this. But before you go, let me show you something. A cool move I like to do. So first you move a pawn here, a pawn here, move a bishop here, a bishop here, move your pawns one up, move it here, move a bishop here, then put your 2 horses here, put your rooks here, and that will give you a good defense. That is one of my favorite strategies. So yeah, that's a good strategy. So please like and subscribe, and we can leave now. Please, just like and subscribe. Just do it. So yeah, this is my favorite strategy.
You're crazy.
So like and subscribe, and goodbye. And please ignore my brother who said I'm crazy. So goodbye.